Hello, and welcome to another update video about ETH. Very, very slow. I mean, it hasn't really moved at all, very weak. That's in line with our expectations on the ETH BTC chart, because ETH BTC, as you might remember from previous updates, we'd still like to see another low. That low happened this week. I might update that chart today, but it certainly comes deeper into the target range, and I will calculate a target probably later today. But the idea was that ETH is going to be outperformed by Bitcoin for at least a little longer to put another low in, at least one more low, or one more low would be enough, which is done now. It should still come down a little lower. I will update the micro count later. And then we could see ETH outperform Bitcoin. So they might change again in a few days maybe. So at the moment, however, Bitcoin moved up a bit. ETH is just very, very weak. That should change soon. Now I can only say, be careful with trying to make a call about the USD chart based on the ETH BTC chart. It's really only about, okay, which one is probably performing better. It doesn't really tell us if a low is in on the USD charts or not, but it tells you which one is going to be a bit stronger, especially on the way up. But yeah, anyway, at the moment, situation hasn't changed for ETH. The yellow wave count is still the preferred one with the downside path, because we haven't seen enough evidence that a lasting low has been established. We can only see that evidence if ETH puts in 5 waves to the upside and 3 waves down in an ABC structure. Then here, in a wave 2, as soon as we have a low confirmed, we can watch forward or look forward to a rally into the 3,000, possibly $4,000 regions. But until we have that 5-wave move up, it is highly speculative, and I would just warn about getting too bullish too early, okay? And we are adopting that stance, and we follow just the process because we know how dangerous it can be, especially in the crypto market, to get too bullish too early. A lot of people do that. When they see a few green candles, they get too bullish. Then something like this happens, or again, everybody bullish, and then breaks down again. And it's not a clearly bullish structure what we see here, okay? And from that point of view, also because we are still in a local downtrend since, depending on how you count the correction, but since July or April, we want the price to show us and to give us evidence that a low has been established. It can only do that by giving us 5 waves up in the white wave count, and even more important, 3 waves down. Because if we only get 5 waves up, this could just still be a high B wave top, which will break down to new lows. But the B wave could have already topped here in a WXY corrective structure. If that's the case, the resistance area should not be broken. So the 1726, 1727 level here is like a signal level. If that's broken to the upside and the price sustains above that level, it's the signal we can get 5 waves up, okay? And until that level is broken, however, I am watching for lower prices. Ideally, I would like to see a bit of a rally into resistance, but ETH is so weak, I'm not sure how, if it's going to do that. I did already mention it to channel members earlier today that maybe some kind of a triangle is playing out. I mean, in the white wave count, this could be the B wave, or within the wave 2, we have maybe an A, B, C, where the B wave is also the triangle. Again, there are many possibilities on the lowest time frames. Lowest time frame micro counts are always a little bit unreliable, but we still track them to understand, okay, what are the relevant pivot points? What is resistance? And the resistance level here is basically between 1690 and 1726, which means the price doesn't have to get there in order to keep the downside pressure alive. But if we get there, there's decent reward to risk for a potential short trade. But yeah, it also tells us that, okay, when do we have to focus more on the white wave count, which means the 5th wave to the upside, and that will be above 1726, 1727. Very, very important level, really. Okay, so that's the pivot point. That's the inflection point. But if we see a significant break below here 1565, which is the beginning of this white 3rd wave, then the white wave count is formally invalidated, and it's basically confirmed that, well, at least the white wave count isn't playing out. You need to understand this is a choppy structure, so probabilities are constantly evolving in here, and new wave counts will come up on the microstructure. But if you zoom out, nothing has happened really for many, many weeks. So, you need to understand that really we only have a reliable setup on the long side if we get a break above 1726, form 5 waves and 3 waves down and hold a higher low support. That's really the only reliable long setup we have here. Until that is the case, we have to prepare for new lows. Okay, that's my update about ETH. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And if you're interested in the membership, then on Sunday we have the next member live stream. You get access to Discord and Telegram, the chat rooms. And as a gold member, you get access to additional short-term market updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.